Welcome back. Today's video is not going to be so much about the Lego on top of the table. So it's not going to be so much about the Lego city itself, but it's more going to be our thoughts, our tips, our tricks on how to make a Lego city. What do you have to think about? What are the plans before? What were our thoughts about it? So let's dive in. The most important part for us, and I would guess for every other Lego city builders, is space. How much space do you have? How much space do you need? We do have a lot of Lego sets, so we would need a lot of space. And from the edge of the stair over here and all the way to the back of the room where we have these small cabinets, we have about 6 meters. And we would, of course, still need to have some space behind here, first of all, to use the cabinets, which is still in use, and so that we could reach the backside of the city. We have left a gap of about 0.75 meters, so what's that, 2.5 feet, something like that, which means that we have 21 base plates in length. And from wall to wall across, we have about 4.5 meters. And again, we have slanted roofs over here on both sides, which means that we cannot utilize every single centimeter. So instead of 75 centimeters over here, we have a meter. It's still pretty much the same amount of space as we have here, but because of the slanted roof, it feels like less. But that means that the entire table, 21 by 14.5 base plates, all the way up here is 18 base plates. So we have a 3 base plate gap right here and the same over there. And that is because that we really wanted to make the city accessible. And by accessible, I mean that we are pretty much, there's only 1 base plate, but we can reach every single base plate from the outside of the table. The only base plate we cannot reach is the T-junction in front of the Lego truck over there. And that is basically just because this is our 3rd attempt of building a Lego city. And before we had a cabinet right here, which we tore down so we could make the Lego city bigger. And that really pretty much meant that we have just reused our downtown area, just flipped it around so everything is the same as it was before. And we do have an access hole underneath the road plates where you can see the yellow Lego truck, so we can reach it if we want to. But everything else is made with the idea that you don't have to reach more than 4 base plates to be able to reach. My reach is about 4.5 base plates, maybe a little bit more, but I don't want to stretch myself too much. I would still be able to use it in 10 years. So that was the idea of how to build, or how much table space we needed. When you figure out how much space you are going to use or going to need, you have to figure out how you are going to do your tables. We chose to do it with 2x4s, plywood, and these adults legs from IKEA, which is perfect in height and possible to set if the floor isn't completely level, which this room isn't. Some other ideas that we have seen is, of course, the liniment tables from IKEA, also with the adults legs. Those are a very good option if you have a smaller amount of space. I think they are 100 centimeters by 60 centimeters. So you could have somewhere around, 4 by 2.5 base plate on one table. So if you had 2 tables, you could have about 20 base plates all in all. A good way to keep, if you want to keep adding on to your table. It wouldn't fit for us because when having the liniment, you are set for the sizes they have. And by having it like this, we could pretty much decide the size ourselves. This wouldn't be the exact same size if we build it with the liniment tables, and it will also make the upper level a bit different, because the upper level is also built with 2x4s, although we have split them, so that would make them 2x2s, and plywood on top. So that makes it a lot easier for us to decide the size themselves. In our city, we have a lot of different areas. We have the beach, we have the camping area, we have the residential area, we have Mrs. LouNeBrick's enchanted forest when it's done. We have a little area here between the residential area and the amusement park, and we have the downtown area up here. The thing we have done is that we pretty much just built the table and then put the areas in between or afterwards. You could, of course, build the table according to what kind of areas you want to have, or you can do it like we did. I would say it doesn't really matter which way you do it. We did do our layout before we actually built the table, but we had the layout of the table. We had the sizing of the table before we put in the layout, and just made the layout fit to the table size. And you, of course, don't need to have all these areas if you don't want to, but I would recommend that if you have multiple layouts, or not multiple layouts, but multiple areas, keep some kind of a natural border between them. Try not to make them too crammed together. For example, one of the reasons why we have the downtown on a raised platform is so that we don't need to have roads or something that spaces it off. We pretty much just have it raised, and then of course we have this wall around, which wasn't, I was about to say cheap to build. It took up a lot of pieces, but it looks good, but it makes a natural border between them. The same thing over here. We are trying to make it kind of easy to say when it's Lego, blocked together. So not too many borders which is curved. It's pretty much just straight all the way down here, with a little bit of curve there, of course, but there is a natural border between. It doesn't look cramped. Would say then another reason why we have the downtown area on the raised platform is because of this. Not this train by itself, but the train line all in all. And that is because we really wanted the train line to go around the city, but trains take up an immense amount of space. But by having a upper level, we could have the train line going underneath. And that's also where we store or hide a lot of our trains. I'm now at the end of the table where you can see the train line go out here. And that is where we have the Disney train. It's not on tracks right now. I think it's going to go into the amusement park. But we have the freight trains, and we have the main line going down here, and we have the red passenger train. So this is a good way to save space and not having it has to go around the downtown area or something like that. I would say that it's absolutely inevitable to not, when you're having a Lego city, not to get a bunch of extra pieces, plates from the Pick-a-Brick wall, extra pieces from sets, things you get from different places. So you also have to think about storage. What we did at first was to have one of those kind of small boxes where you can have screws and things that normally is in your work shed. But that quickly became too small. So of course we did use the Pick-a-Brick cups from Lego. That worked at some point, but was a bit, it took up too much space, so we went over to this. These are some boxes from IKEA. And then we went over to this Alex drawers. And in these Alex drawers, we have a bunch of these small plastic containers, which is called NOJIG. Nojig, something like that. They come in 4 different sizes. They come in these small, which is, I think they're 10 by 10. They come in these bigger, which is 10 by 20. And then they come in these a bit bigger, which is 15 by 20. And then they come in these large ones, which cannot be in the normal Alex drawers, but can be in the 5 drawers that we have over here. Sorry for the lighting. Let's move this. At the moment, we have 3 of the big ones, 2 greens and white. And then we have 1 in our workstation right here. So we have a bunch of extra space for our pieces. We are also one of those couples who keep most of the boxes they have. A lot of these boxes have smaller boxes inside, so it's not everything that you can see, but the bigger boxes we do keep. Some of the small boxes go out. So that's also a part of our storage. But another thing is these. This is our instructions. Let me take one that isn't that heavy. Must be this one. Yeah. It looks like a shoebox. And I would say that it's actually better than a shoebox because it's a lot cheaper than buying a whole lot of shoes. This is the Vattentork, I think it's called, from IKEA. It has the size of a A4, a normal piece of paper, so you can have the biggest of the instructions in here as well. I was thinking of having some kind of a cabinet, a filing cabinet, but this is not something that I have to be able to go through every day. I just need to have it. So it might not be the easiest to go through, but it is very inexpensive to have them in this. This was also from IKEA. I don't think that's that expensive, but it has the right height to be underneath the table. 3 crowns, 3 kroner, which is roughly 50 cents in dollars, of course, in American dollars. I think they are about 0.70 euros in Germany, so they are actually more expensive in Germany than they are in Denmark, so that's a good thing. But I still think that it's a very, very good way to have them. So that's how we have ours. I did show this before, but I just wanted to elaborate that I would really recommend you to have your extra pieces and a workspace next to your Lego city. Of course, you could have your extra pieces in another room, and even though it do take up some space where I would have been able to have some more Lego, I would rather have a workspace right here. It is so annoying to have to go forward and back and forward and back and forward and back to get the pieces you need, or be able to not be able to sit down next to it. I have a TV. I think that's important for me, but that will be for you guys to decide. That was a short run through of what we have done, how we have done it, what we're using, how we have set it all up, and basically just our tips for you to make your own city. I'm not saying that you have to use all of our ideas. There is a bunch of other ways to do it. I'm just telling that this is how we do it, and it works for us. It doesn't have to work for everyone. So do your own thing. Don't necessarily listen to all of us, but take whatever you can use from our experience. So I hope you have enjoyed this little video. I hope you will come back for the next ones. So until next time, bye.